So this has been the most shocking thing for me, because I would have thought that this was the part that Unity had like solved. They're like, yes, this is how we're going to do it. This is how it's going to work. But now they've come out and they've been like vague of like, some algorithms will ask the platforms. Like, hey, if you ask Steam how many installs your engine has on their thing, they're going to tell you to go. They don't share that private information, because again, much like the previous one on Game Pass, and this will be the same for Microsoft and Sony, your deal with Steam is you, the developer, to Steam, not you, the developer, Steam, and Unity. There's no menage a trois here of game development and contracts. That's not how contracts work, right? And so you're responsible for it, and Steam's not going to give this information to Unity. So Unity's like, yeah, we got some algorithm kind of thing going on. We'll figure it out. You trust us. I don't trust them anymore, right? And that's it. Is you do something that destroys trust, and then you ask for trust. It's not a good trade there, right? And so it's really interesting of like, yeah, how do you track this? How do you track reinstalls? Because that's always been like kind of sacred, right? Nobody knows that. Nobody cares. You give us the money to buy the game, and that's why you normally do it in this really clean way. And this also comes down again to how do you audit this? How do you track this as a developer? Because I don't trust Unity now. So how it works with Epic is I tell Epic, hey, I sold this many games, made this much money, here's your cut. And Epic goes, okay, cool, we can kind of ballpark and we can look at your numbers and have some idea. If we really want to know, we can audit you. And we can audit because we have your bank account. We have this thing that we can go look at and say, look, this is how much money you brought in, right? It's really clear. Installs, nobody knows installs. Nobody tracks installs. This is like the untracked thing. Nobody cares. Nobody cares, right? Are you gonna talk about it like as an install when you just delete it and reinstall it? Because sometimes you do that on a game because you're like, I don't know, maybe this will fix it. Like, is that like right? Like, there's just a bunch of around this, or they're like, hey, for every platform you install it from Steam. So if you're on your Steam Deck on your laptop and your computer, like, Steam is not going to share that information. They're not. They're not. They are not. So they did all this hubbub, and they don't have a good way of tracking this thing because they've admitted they don't have a good way to track this thing, which is just mind-blowing, right? Like, is it April Fool's prank? Did JR just wake up one morning and be like, I'm going to flip everybody off? Like, yeah, it is a wacky idea.